Service. You always have to be prepared when driving down the road to just stop and see some of the strangest things. So I'm going to swing this camera around so you can see what we saw as we were driving down the road. I am Groot. I know, isn't that weird? Here we are in a park that's across the river from where we're currently staying. This is a membership park, so it'd only be $10 a night for us to stay here with a maximum of a 14-day stay. They're pretty crowded in here, but it does have some amenities. So I'll swing around here so you can see. It's not an adults-only park because there's the huge playground area here for the kids under the shade, which you'll need. And then over here, it's got the swimming pool area and the tiki bar. Certainly a lot nicer amenity-wise from where we are. On the other side of the tiki bar is another pool area and nice shaded area. Here's the tiki bar area.
I was just going to say that.
Oh, the two things.
They have a hot tub in the sun. And then around here, a hot tub in the shade. And then the bar with lots of different kinds of beer on tap. My kind of place. The golfing area, they call it Jackass Golf. So the only thing that's green are the greens. Then everywhere else, it's just all dirt and rocks. So don't bring your good clubs here. There's all sorts of different kinds of Americana that you can take a look at, like in Texas where they have the Cadillacs that are buried, you know, or the biggest ball of twine or whatever. You just have to be able to be ready to pull over and take a look at something. This particular building here, this is where they say this is where Wyatt Earp was born. And so now it's a little mini mart that's never opened. It looks like it's mainly under construction. Probably doesn't get good business anyway. And this is the only thing that's here in Earp, California. It's just this one little building. Here we are in the historic part of Silver City in New Mexico, and it looks a lot like a historic small town would. This is the historic district, so it's only a part of Silver City. And Silver City is actually quite larger than I thought it would be. It has regular fast food joints and a Walmart and everything else. But down here it's pretty cool just to walk up and down the sidewalks and take a look and see what people have for sale. What's really interesting that I've noticed about this town, at least here down in the historic area, is that a lot of the things, a lot of the shops down here are art shops, galleries, and bakeries. You know, the reflection is just killer on these windows. These are all made from cactus. Silver City is an interesting place. It is a college town. The New Mexico, Western New Mexico University is here, and this historic district is a nice place to kind of just walk around, hang out a little bit. So it's loaded with history as well. What I'm walking by right here, see if I can get a picture of it right now. These are some of the original beams, buildings that were here in the 1800s. You can see it better behind me now. And we passed by an old hotel that used to be a brothel, and this place was really quite a booming little place until a big downturn in silver in the late 1800s, and then it kind of died out, and then it's been brought back mainly by other mining that's here. The big attraction now is copper. They have a couple of very large copper mines here. One of the largest is owned by the Japanese, and they're really taking a lot of copper out of the ground. Good morning, campers. Well, today is a travel day. We are headed off to Carlsbad Caverns, and that's about a 5-hour drive from here. So we're going to head down the road, so let's go to Carlsbad. Well, with RVing, there's always challenges, and here I am in the middle of nowhere, stuck on the side of the road, having to get a tow. So I think I found what the problem is. but I don't have the tools I need to fix the problem. It's a hose on the turbo came loose. So it's all part of RVing. Well, I'm sitting here in the car because it's pretty noisy outside, so I thought I'd just sit in here and talk to you a little bit about some of the trials and tribulations you have as an RV owner. And these things, they're like a boat. You know, they have issues. You hope you can work all the bugs out. This is our first big trip in the RV, and we are working the bugs out. And once they're all worked out, we're going to have a great coach. It's just the trials and tribulations of getting those things worked out. So we're headed up to Carlsbad, and I lost power, and it was going up a hill, and so I pulled over, and my turbo had 0 psi running through it. So I went back and looked at the turbo, and it looked like it was all hooked up fine. And then I looked on the other side of the turbo hose that goes into the aftercooler, and the hose had come loose, and I didn't have a clamp to clamp it back on. And there's a ton of pressure running through that, so it has to be clamped. Just putting the boot back on wasn't good enough. So without the turbo, I could only drive 5 to 10 miles an hour. And without the clamp, then there's no way to fix it. So we had to get a tow. And the tow truck came, and it was about 30 miles out of El Paso, Texas, so we had to turn around, go back to El Paso. They brought us to an RV park, and so we, just hung out the RV park. This place has a pool and a hot tub, so it's not all bad. I got to swim a few laps and kick back in the hot tub and chill out. This morning, I went to a Freightliner dealer. They're open 24 hours. Wish I would have known that yesterday. But today's Sunday, so everything else is closed. But they were open, and so I was able to get the part I needed. I installed the new part. It looks good. I still don't know if I have power. I'm assuming I'm going to have power because I put the boot back on the aftercooler. So I'm assuming that I'll have power now, and I don't have some sort of turbo lockout. So tomorrow morning, we're going to head back up to Carlsbad. We've got a KOA campground up there. It's going to be about a 2.5-hour drive. I think I'll drive around the block a few times and make sure that I actually have good power before we head up there. If I don't have good power, then I don't know. I guess I'll go to a Cummins dealer, which is right down the road. At least they'll be open on Monday, and have them take a look and see what's going on. I don't know why the clamp failed. I don't know what caused it. I know there's a tremendous amount of pressure, but I don't know if something backed up or extra pressure or it was just rusty. So we'll find out more in the morning. Well, we finally made it. We made it to Carlsbad, KOA. We're about 40 minutes up north of the Caverns. So we're going to drive down there today and go explore the Caverns. This was the one spot on our trip that I was looking the most forward to. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do any of the guided hikes. They don't start those for another couple weeks. So I don't know if they're going to have any rangers there that can help us out, or if we're just going to have to do self-guided tours. Probably just the walking trails are going to be open, and not the really cool stuff that you can explore with a guide. So anyway, we're going to go there. I'll take some pictures. Really looking forward to this one. Well, we finally made it to the caverns. This is the entrance into the cavern. It's about an hour walk into this first entrance part. And you can see right here the cave entrance. And that's where we're going to walk down into there. So let's start heading down. This first part is a steep switchback trail, but as you can see, it's all paved. So it's not like hiking in the mountains or anything. They say if you see anything flying in here, it's probably not bats, it's probably birds. It's still migration season for the bats, so they haven't fully formed yet. But you can sit up in the amphitheater this evening or in the evening and watch whatever bats are here fly out. They all fly out at dusk to go feed. Unfortunately, you can't take video of that, but I bet it's an impressive sight. So let's head on down into the cave. That's where we're headed, right down into there.
And this is they leave.
I'm supposed to talk quiet because my voice can carry for a quarter mile into the cave.
They're saying that the swallows have their nests up in the ceiling, and they leave them, and they come back to them year after year.
Well, and you can see some of the holes
Where the swallows live.
in the ceiling here, where the swallows live.
See, there's some right there. See them right there in that hole they're nesting right there.
Yep. There's one of the natives. There are a ton of birds in here, and you can smell them. This is cool. They're coming up out of the darkness. And then they just all went back inside. Kind of spooky. You can see the trail is lit that we're going to walk on, but what you can't see is that's a big hole. Looks like we're going to be walking down in there. Part in front is the bat cave. So deep down in that cave is where the bats make their summertime home, mainly from March through October. And they hang from their feet from the ceiling in there. But we're not going to be able to go down that way. They don't want to disturb the bats. But look at this.
Looks like a city right here.
Stalactites. And then down here, stalagmites. Kind of looks like you're standing up on a cliff looking down on a big city.
This cave, in climates past, was probably so active that the sounds of dripping would have resembled a nice spring rain. When you hear dripping, you know the cave isn't dead. It's still active.
Yep, we're still walking down into the caves here. I don't know if I said it before, but they said it's like a 79-story walk down into the cave. It's fairly steep, but it's on this nice paved path. So it's pretty smooth walking. You just feel it a little in your calves because you are walking downhill the whole time.
And your glutes, you feel your bones tomorrow. It's a good glute workout.
And it's pretty well lit. I'm sure it's not going to show up as nicely on the camera here, but it is pretty well lit. And as far as the air goes, there's a constant air exchange in here. And we even saw some mist a little further up the trail here. And so they say there's a constant airflow in here, so they don't have to pump any air into the cave. It's just naturally occurring. Oops, this is steep. Yep, we're still going down there. Oh, this is just not going to show up very good. Oh, oh good.
Halfway? Can you tell me 3/4? Just a little like eye. This isn't down, this is up.
Wow, that is amazing. The one part that they don't have illuminated for you, but I brought my own flashlight, is the big mound of poop.
Ready to go up?
Yep. Yep. That is all poop.
Just take a still of the bat, since we were in the bat cave.
That shadow right there looks like a bat. I wonder if they're calling out Batman. Now, we could have avoided that whole big walk and instead just come into here and take an elevator to here. But by doing that, then you miss out on all that cool stuff. There's more touring down here. There's the big room, and then there's a King's Palace tour, which is a guided tour, and we're going to do that tomorrow. Oh, and they have a cafe here too, and restrooms.